The recent attack on Mali may have done the exact opposite of what was intended, because instead of isolating Mali, exposing weakness inside the Alliance of Sahel States, and increasing pressure on the region, the aftermath now appears to be pushing the AES closer together, militarily, politically, and psychologically. And the most important part may not even be happening on the battlefield, because young Africans far beyond Mali, from Cameroon, Senegal, Chad, Guinea, Togo, to the diaspora and the Caribbean, are now watching this situation very differently than many expected. What was supposed to create fear may instead be accelerating something much bigger. The attack itself was serious. It raises immediate questions about security, regional stability, and Mali abilities to manage growing pressure from armed groups operating across the Sahel. But the attack like this are not only military, they are psychologically, because modern conflict perceptions matters almost as much as territory. If the alliance appears to be weak, if coordinations appear to be broken, if people expecting collapse, pressure increase from every direction, and for many observers, the expectation may have been that this attack would expose fractures in the AES. Instead, something different now appearing to be happening. If you're looking for serious conversation, connecting Africa, the Caribbean, and the global Black diaspora through geopolitically, sovereignty, and real-time global shift, subscribe to West Best Media, because what's happening in the Sahel becomes bigger than most headlines are explaining. Rather than pulling apart, the AES countries now appear to be moving even closer together. And that matters, because once allied states being operated with sheer survival mentality, the geopolitical equation changes completely. The message increasingly appears to be an attack affect one AES countries, affect all. And whether people support the AES decision or not, it is becoming harder to ignore the level of coordination now emerging across Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. The attack may have unintentionally accelerate the process, not only militarily, but symbolically, because pressure reveals whether alliances are temporary or whether they evolve into something deeper. And many young Africans are clearly noticing the shift. This may now be the most important part of the story, because the reaction no longer limited to Mali alone. Across Africa, young people are closely watching what is happening inside the AES, not necessarily because they support every government or government decision, but because many are paying attention to the broader idea behind it: sovereignty, regional defense, and resistance to outside pressure. And this conversation is no longer staying in Africa. Across the diaspora and the Caribbean, more black communities are now following these developments directly through social media, independent media, YouTube, TikTok, digital, political discussion. That matters because previous generation often experienced geopolitical events through foreign media and foreign filters. Now people are increasingly interpreting event for themselves, and that changes psychological around the power. I also want to hear from you. Do you believe the recent attack weakened the AES? Or do you think they may actually be pushing the alliance closer together under pressure? And how are people in your country viewing the AES fight now? Let me know in the comment. The most important consequence of the Mali attack may not ultimately be military. It may be psychologically, because what may have been intended to create instability and fear is now potentially reinforcing the perception that the AES countries are becoming more unified under pressure, not less. And once that perception spread among young population, the implication becomes much larger than one conflict, because movement become powerful when they stop being viewed as isolated event and start becoming symbols. That does not mean the AES is without challenge. The region is still face enormous security and economical pressure, but it is becoming harder to ignore is that many young Africans are no longer watching the Sahel through the same lens as previous generation. And that shift alone may become one of the most important geopolitical development unfolding in Africa right now. The Alliance of the Sahel States may still be geographically located in the Sahel, but the political conversation surrounding this now spread far beyond the battlefield and far beyond West Africa itself. And if Mali attack was intended to weaken the perception of the AES unity, it may have unintentionally accelerate the exact opposite. If you value serious geopolitical analysis, focus on Africa, the Caribbean, and the diaspora, subscribe, share the video, and stay connected to West Best Media, because the global balance is shifting in real time, and many of the most important conversations are no longer coming from traditional media.